to jump into this thing. I don't really want to. I can see inside the, through this hole down here. The belt looks great. I can't see any cracking or whatever, so I think this might be a lesson in futility, but it's a learning experience for me and you. So since there aren't any, it says to replace gasket when you take it off, but since this is basically just an air gasket, I'll see if I can use the old one again until I do change a belt and then put in a new one. My things may change as I get into it, but I don't think I'll need to worry about a gasket, because I've talked to other people on the forum, or posted with them, and they didn't gasket, new gasket. Why? It doesn't really matter. So discovered there's some 8mm sockets, 3 across the top and then 1 on the bottom, but you don't have to worry about the sizing of them because they're all the same length, and you can tell by their little holes that they're only going to go in one place. So I think I will go get a marking pin and mark on the case with the black felt tip Sharpie locations of these 8mm ones. I just got out all 6 of the 10mm bolts, or 10mm heads, and they're all the same length, so you don't have to worry about putting them in some certain order or anything. I did notice that one of them on the back down here closest to the exhaust had a little bit of corrosion on it, probably where the moisture that gets blown back up into the V-belt or into the CV joints collects down there and maybe drains. See if there's any deterioration in the case, but basically that's it. Now I'll have to see how this comes out. Be careful on the case. Don't go prying around the edges. This is pretty lightweight, soft stuff. I'll bring it out in a moment, but on the bottom here in the back, there's a little area kind of curled over that you would stick your screwdriver in to just gently pry this loose. So, I got to take this gas line holder thing here off. It's getting in the way. I'll move back. Doesn't say anything about taking off the exhaust pipe. Let me come back again. Something back in here is holding up. Maybe this deflector needs to come off. Doesn't say so, but well, it slid off with a little bit of friendly persuasion. It's a little dirty inside. You can see this is the spot where you got to add more grease to it and give it a good wipe down. But let me get this thing taken care of, and then we'll come back again. But and then do a measurement on the belt. But God, that thing looks. Let me clean my hands first too. Well, I'm not using a real high-tech caliper here, but I've used this thing for, you can tell, for a long time, and so I'm pretty happy with its output. This thing says absolutely nowhere at all. I imagine it probably is, but I can't see any. I mean, the outside of the belt looks almost, it looks brand new. There's no wear on any of the all the little red markings on the belt are pristine from day one. The inside of the belt looks perfect. There's no marking as such on the variator face. It's nice and clean, no ridges. Driven pulley looks the same way. So I'm going to give this thing a good cleaning and call it good to go. Put some grease in here on the spindle that calls for. I got this hole here is supposed to be filled with 10 grams of lithium soap grease. I've got some white lithium grease, but I don't think that's the same thing. I've got to call customer service and find out. So I'm in no hurry to get this back again. So I'll go ahead and clean everything up. But here is that gap, that hole, and it's basically, now that I see it, it's the drain for any water that gets in here. It'll drain out this hole. and it would be, how are we going here? This way, up in the front. So that's where you would put your screwdriver in to kind of like push off the case back in here. So let me go ahead and get this cleaned up, and we'll come back. I'm not going to even waste my time taking the belt off this time. This case is so easy to take off now that I know how to do it. I'll check it again at 16. If it hasn't worn at 16, I'll let it go to, what the hell would that be, 20, I guess. So we'll see. Just looking down here to where the valves are, it's like it's going to be a little nightmare. I think it's going to have to come along with the pulling out the cooling system to flush it. I think that would be advisable to pull out the radiator and everything down in there when you go to do the valve adjustments. So that's it for a moment. One of the things I don't have to do this time is take off the variator or disassemble it, but it gives me a good chance to make the tool for when I do. So this morning I was setting breakfast, got out the old compass, yes, protractor, and set up my gauge that I made, and then now I've gotten a washer. It's a 1.5 inch across the middle, 1.5 inch USS washer. It's mild steel, and it's about, I don't know, looks like about 3/16 thick, maybe a little thicker. And so it's the right size for my gauge. I can hide the whole thing in behind, if you can see it here. So it's the right size, and I've got my holes drilled. Now I got 2 more holes to tap, which is 8mm pins on the variator, which is basically 5/16. So just bore a 1/4 inch hole and tap it out. But I center punched it, pilot hold it with a like a 9/64, one of the little guys, and then I had a bit that has the extension on it for guiding through, and so I was able to drill through, and it looks like it's fairly reasonably close. So now I just got to go get a piece of pipe in order to split it and then weld it to the ring here. But let me go ahead and finish up the tapping of these things, and then we'll go back over the scoot and see how well it fits. I think I have some 5/16 bolts I could stick in it and give it a test. Well, I've got part of it made. I had one set of holes it was off centered, so I'll weld the handle on there, but I got that set up for the driven pulley, which is 70mm center to center, and the guys up here are 63mm center to center, and looks like, yeah, I'm going to work fine, and I'm centered, and I will have clearance for the socket out here, so I didn't have to worry so much about the diameter in here, even though I knew I could get a 30mm or 31mm socket inside, but then you got to be really really be certain on the distances here that they're correct. So now all I got to do is get some pipe to weld the handle on, and I got my own tool here for both of these, and I believe the clutch on the other side is also 70mm, 2 pins, so it would do the same thing as this. So can't find you handsome.